Hi, I'm Lisa Ortiz. I'm with Mothers with a Message, and we're at Chacawalla today with other members of Mothers with a Message, Alejandra Zambrano and Bevelyn Bravo, and we're here talking to Miguel, who we met last year at Ironwood. And the funny thing about it is, Miguel, we met him and he knows all three of our children. Our children were killed in San Diego to gang violence and just they were shot or stabbed, and we met him. He knew my daughter Marcela Peraza, he knew Nena's son Javier and Bevelyn's son Jaime Bravo, and we just feel honored to meet him. So Miguel, what is the one thing that stands out to you about Marcela, and how did you know when I told my story that we were talking about Marcela?
Wow, I mean, there's so many things that I could describe about Marcela, you know. She was always being a sweet girl. She was kind, well educated. That was one of her priorities for school.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I could remember, you know. You know, the way I met her through friends, going around parties and being around them. And she's always been a sweet girl. She was always like that. She was always very sweet. Man, when I found out what happened, you know, I knew the guy who took her life. I knew him as well.
So you're saying you also knew the guy Christopher Sanchez who killed Marcela?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, I knew him through gangs, you know, and it's sad to say, but it's true, you know. Being part of a gang, you know, it was, you know, we're terrorists. We were terrorizing the communities. That's basically what it was. Now, hearing all this, I was in Calapat in 2009 when I was hearing all these things that was happening, and I was like, man, I couldn't believe it because, like I said, for once, Marcela was so just sweet. She was just sweet, respectful, you know. She used to love to have fun, you know, and she was always smiling.
I have a surprise for you. I brought a big picture of Marcela, so we'll show that to you later.
And you know, and as far as Jaime, you know, he was way younger than me, but he used to be a good kid, you know. But like I said, in the communities we lived in, it's just so infested with gangs that you don't know where the bullet is coming from or who you're gonna encounter. And that's how bad it was in the neighborhood, you know. And
Javier?
Man, Javier, I was with him in juvenile hall.
Okay.
I was with him in juvenile hall, Javier. I transferred to the county jail, and he went home. And maybe months after he went home, I found out that he passed away of gang violence, you know. I found out they shot him. And it was heartbreaking because, like I said, he was just a good kid caught up on the nonsense that goes on in gangs, you know.
So with all that going on and knowing that 4 people, because Marcela passed away, Javier passed away, Jaime passed away, and even Christopher Sanchez passed away in prison, who was very remorseful. He never meant to kill Marcela and was very remorseful about her passing away during his shooting spree. So how do you feel now, because you're still alive and you have a second chance? You know all the mothers involved with these children. What's the message that you have for you going forward?
For me, I got a sentence of 15 years to life for taking someone's life. The way I feel about it, I feel horrible. I feel shame for what I did, because today I recognize that I ain't no one to take somebody's life. I was pretending to be my own God. And, you know, the things I've learned and all the friends of mine and loved ones that I care about passing away, it gave me an eye-opening. You know, I took the blinders off. You know, I started going to classes. You know, I started going to Criminals and Gang Anonymous, and that class taught me how to take the mask off. You know, I created that persona, that individual who was in the streets inflicting pain and sorrow to people. You know, I was that person. And it's something I'm ashamed of and I'm not proud of. You know, being incarcerated for 10 years already, you know, and being in worst prisons. It taught me a lesson, you know. It taught me to value life as a whole and those around it, and those that make this world round, you know.
So the first time you heard Mothers with a Message, how did you feel after you heard what we said?
I cried.
Oh.
I cried, I really did, because like I said, he hit right home, because the minute I started hearing you guys speaking, I already knew who you guys were talking about, who you guys were. I was like, whoa, that's her mom. Oh, that's his mom. I was like, oh my God. And when I spoke to Jaime's mom, I was like, oh man, it broke my heart, because I believe that he was from the gang that I was from, you know, and he was just sad, you know. I was like, man, I couldn't help but to cry, because I got emotional. For once, I'm responsible for a lot of that chaos, you know. I'm responsible for a lot of shootings in neighborhoods. I'm responsible for terrorizing the community where I was from, you know, and I'm ashamed of what I did. I truly am. You know, I took the life of a guy, Mr. Juan Santana, and you know, I feel horrible for it, because who am I to take somebody's life? I'm nobody.
If you could talk to his mother right now, Juan Santana, is that his name?
Yeah.
If you could talk to his mom right now, what would you tell her?
I will tell her that I'm very sorry for what I did, that I'm ashamed for what I did, and I live with regret, and I wish that I would have the courage to ask for help when I needed the help, you know. And I was going through so much pain in my life, you know, growing up, you know, in a household, domestic violence, drugs, you know, my family, they all gang members, you know. I couldn't escape my reality, you know, and I wanted to show people the pain that I was going through. I was trying to inflict the pain that I was going through to other people, and you know, I chose the easiest path, which was gangs, because he was in front of me.
That was your refuge?
And it was, because I was looking for love and acceptance, and I got it from them, you know. And once I got it, it was hard for me to let go, because I was craving for attention, you know, and I got it from the wrong places, you know. I would misbehave at school to try to get my parents' attention and pretend they didn't care, you know. And when I was misbehaving in school, my cousins and them embraced me for that, you know, and I started feeling love, you know. And next thing you know, I was part of the gang. At 10 years old, I got recruited, and ever since then, you know, I was in and out of juvenile halls, you know, until I never got out.
If you get a date, what would you do different if you're out in the world?
God, you know, I am not deserving of going home, but if I do get the chance, you know, my main priority is, you know, try to help kids who are following the path that I was in, because I wish somebody would have helped me. I wish somebody would have put my ear and tell me, hey, look, Miguel, this is not the way. You know, this is the way to go about it. Speak up. Talk about your feelings. Show your emotions. Don't be afraid, you know, because I wish somebody would have told me that. But instead, I bottled everything up, and I was acting up on anger.
We have seen inmates that have gotten a date and done exactly what you described, and it is very impactful to the kids coming up. So thank you. I appreciate you sharing everything you just shared with us.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
That was great.